elders from across South Australia have held an emergency meeting in response to federal funding cuts they say could threaten their communities. Essential services will no longer be funded from the middle of the year, and Indigenous communities in remote areas are worried they'll lose their cultural ties to the land.
In a rare show of solidarity, elders from many Aboriginal communities have come together to discuss the impact of the federal funding cuts. In just a few months, municipal services like some electricity and water supplies, as well as rubbish collection, will no longer be funded in many remote communities.
What we are faced with is a situation where communities will be closing, people will be potentially driven off communities back into cities and towns, and there's been no planning about this.
Elders say their communities are anxious and upset because they need traditional lands to practice their culture.
It's really important. It goes back 40,000 years. We didn't say we want to give this land away, but we know the people live here now. But Aboriginal people should have a say in that investment to our municipal services.
The culture and the people, and we need a government help to support people in every way.
Up to 60 communities in South Australia have been identified as at risk, and in Western Australia, that state government plans to close about 150 communities as a result of the federal cuts. The South Australian government hasn't taken that step yet and is still trying to have the funding maintained.
The state's Aboriginal Affairs Minister, Kyan Ma, says he's continuing to have constructive discussions with his federal counterpart, Nigel Scullion, about the funding, but community leaders say they should be included in any plans.
They're having negotiations and discussions about us without talking to us and including us in those conversations.
We will have a new wave of Aboriginal Australians displaced, assimilated or segregated.
The meeting will continue tomorrow. Candice Marcus, ABC News, Port Augusta.